Yes. What's up, folks? Steve Holmes. I'm 50 today. It's my 50th birthday. So what better way to celebrate than with some drumming? We're here in Los Angeles, and yeah, we're blasting to a couple different services right now. I think we're going to YouTube. We're going to Facebook. This setup that I've got going here is like it's held together by like string and bubble gum. It's pretty bare bones. So let me know if the ceiling starts coming down, or if you can't hear anything, or if it looks horrible, or if it sounds horrible. But here we are. We're doing it. What better way to celebrate than playing some drums and talking drums? That's the best part. Oh man, we got Negus is here already. Negus, what's up, brother? I fixed it so that I can actually see the Facebook comments. I'm trying Restream. Restream is a service you can sign up for that like you stream to Restream and it blasts it to a bunch of different services. So yeah, place your bets. We'll see what happens. But last time I couldn't see the Facebook comments, and now I can. So I've fixed that issue. Nice. All right, so I'm pretty rusty. Like real life has been kind of occupying a lot of time, but we're here. We're behind the drums. We're gonna try to get the rust off. Negus says seems to be working great. Awesome. All right, let's see how the drums sound. For those of you who are not familiar with the stream, we're gonna do a little improvising, a little playing, just kind of see what happens, and then after that we chat. We talk drums because that's just as fun as playing drums. Actually, maybe a little bit more fun. But yeah, I'm 50 today, so let's see if I can still play. Thanks for hanging out, folks. All right. I don't know what happened at the end there. I should have stopped like so long ago. Oh, man. What's up, folks? My name is Steve Holmes. Today I turned 50. So what better way to celebrate than by playing some drums? Man, that halftime shuffle, like you get in that, and then like there's so many different things that I start hearing, and it's like, oh, play it straight, go to 6/8, do all this stuff, and it's like, really what you should do is just shut up and just sit on it. But that can be challenging. What's up, folks? Thanks for hanging out. We're streaming live. Cheers. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat. I never schedule these streams, and so people get kind of caught off guard by them, and there's no real like notice ahead of time. So it's just kind of like, let's see what happens. My good friend Jeff is here. What's up, Jeff? Gary Much says happy birthday. Thank you very much. Bill Marcus. Oh, you guys, Bill Marcus on Facebook. Bill Marcus is a living legend. Bill Marcus is one of the best bass players I've ever seen. He's a Los Angeles jazz scene veteran, and man, Bill, I hope everything is going good with you. I miss playing with you, brother. Lyle Engel says, keep rocking, my brother. What's up, Lyle? Lyle, one of the best rock bands I was ever in was led by Lyle, and we had this amazing violin player named Dorian Chia and this amazing bass player, Giuseppe Patine, and man, good times in the 90s. So thank you, Lyle. What's up? Oh, my aunt is here. Carol Holmes Keene, sister of my father. Hi, Aunt Carol. Thank you for saying happy birthday. Ryan Smith, I don't look any older than 49. That's a good one. I'm going to use that. Ryan. Let's see. Jeff Negus says it sounds good. Yay. Tom Miller says happy birthday. A lot of happy birthdays. We're just gonna say thank you and just keep moving here. Really appreciate it. Let's see. Happy birthday. I can't really stay. Always checking you out. Great jumping as always. Thank you, the Zapper. Let's have a birthday. If you could tell a beginner to an intermediate drummer to only focus on one exercise, what would it be? From YouTube, says LaFloyd fan forever. Well, the good news is you don't have to focus on one exercise. And there's too many important things to be like, oh, only do this one thing. If I had to, geez. It's funny because as soon as I think of one thing, there's other things that come to mind, and I'm like, nope, that's more important. Initially, I'm like, okay, clean doubles, like work on your doubles, but then I'm like, no, like practice with a metronome, like get good time. But then like having good time or good doubles is useless, like if you don't know how to play music. So I guess that's the one exercise. Become a music expert. Listen to me, literally become a music expert so that you can play music with other people, which is kind of a bummer answer if you're interested in like a drummer answer, like, oh, what hand exercise should I, like there's tons of stuff, obviously. But the point is, like, none of this, I mean, for me anyway, like my opinion is like playing drums by yourself is fun. And for those that are new to the stream, I should mention that like because of my live setup here, like I'm not able to play along to tracks or a click or anything because of some latency and monitoring issues and stuff. But that's the plan, is to upgrade the setup here, so we can play along to tracks and actually play some music instead of just talking about it. But yeah, all this is to play music with people because that's the best. That's the best use of this. That's the best feeling that I've had doing this is like playing songs and playing music with other folks, kind of thing. So, all right, just making sure we're good. So yeah, become a music expert and channel that energy into your drumming and get in the mindset of like, I want to play music and I want to support music and I want to play awesome songs with awesome people. But I mean, there's tons of videos on my channel. Like if folks aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel. Like if you're interested in other drumming exercises and stuff, there's tons of content in there. But you asked for one, and so there's your one. Hey, Andy Sinisi. Is Andy, I got to be honest, man, when I saw your name while I was playing, like I looked over while I was playing and I saw you were here, it really put a fire under my ass. It really inspired me to be like, oh shit, officer on deck. Man, officer on deck. Andy Sinisi, you guys, another LA veteran, amazing drummer. He can play every style. He never stops working. He's probably like on his phone, like at sound check at some gig right now. Andy, I miss your brother. Let's see, Benedict Stefan says after a certain age, even though it should be an ongoing process, taking care of your body really helps with your drumming abilities, but you sound rock solid. I agree. Thank you for the compliment, Benedict. Yeah, like taking care of yourself it really doesn't get any more important than that, because you can't do anything without your health. And so I agree. Let's see, Will Platt says, no way, it's Steve's birthday. Can we get a birthday gush? Of course. Of course you can get a birthday gush. Here we go. Oh man, the gush is like floor tom and like China cymbal or any kind of cymbal together. And we like doing the gush with this guy. This is the Zildjian 15-inch Azuka. Floor tom and the Azuka together, it sounds like gush. So we love the gush. So there's a birthday gush for Will. Happy birthday, Steve. Many thanks for the shed and some light with accents and drags and the other terrific ideas. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's all about sharing the information. Oh, guys, another officer on deck, Matthias Kor, or Nor. Check out his YouTube channel if you want to get scared. Matthias is amazing drummer. He's got amazing drum sound. And yeah, if you want to get inspired and scared, check out Matthias. Let's see, happy birthday. Thank you. Brian Douglas. Brian Douglas says, I remember when you asked me if I thought you should design for COD, I said without a doubt you should. One of the better things I did in that time of my life. Glad I did. Happy Drums Day, brother. Yeah, Brian, I hope you're doing well, man. Let's see, Angel, happy birthday, Steve. Big fan of your playing. Always get inspired to your warm-ups. Keep them coming. Yes, thank you. I plan to keep the good thing going here. Let's see, happy birthday. Thank you very much from the bottom. Birthday, Steph Wilson. Yeah, man, so many folks. I guess Matthias is out. See you later, Matthias. Happy birthday. Yeah, this is fun. Let's see, alternating left hand and bass drum. This is from Stixology, sent at about 5 minutes ago. Let's see, the alternating left hand and bass drum incorporated into the fill versus just gearing up and playing it like an exercise is always such a pain. Yes, agreed. That one thing that I had to put on the brakes and like stop and like force myself to do it. That alternating hand foot thing. And I find that like 16-note triplet paradiddle phrasing, I mean, first of all, is super powerful. Like people don't take advantage of that concept the way that they should. Just like simple accents over paradiddles, but like over 16-note triplets. And I found that once I got that going, then doing like a hand foot kind of thing. And the thing that opened the floodgates for me for that was, I mean, I was working on, like 32nd note paradiddle stuff, but then, started to kind of get into, 16-note triple paradiddles. And honestly, the phrase that kind of opened the floodgates for me was that classic 6/8, pattern that everyone plays, when you're just learning that stuff, which is, jat, jas, jas, ja, got, jas, ja, ja, right? That Afro-Cuban and Ningo kind of thing. And what happened was I started playing those accents over top of paradiddles. And I just figured out what the sticking was, right? Over top of 16-note triplets, right? So there's 6 notes per quarter note, right? So right, so I've kind of put paradiddles to that. Let me see if I can come up with the exact pattern. It's paradiddle, paradiddle, para, paradiddle. Right, so there's a para, paradiddle. Yeah, followed by 2 single paradiddles and then a double paradiddle diddle. That's what it is, right? Because there's several accents in the middle of it that are on the upbeats, right? So it's da, 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 right? So those upbeats are just single paradiddles. We're just playing on the upbeat, right? So point being is I started playing that like on cymbals and with the bass drum and stuff, and kind of just sat on that. And once I got that, I started to just, well, let's just improvise with those accents. And again, this is like real simple phrasing. It's just like paradiddles underneath over triplets, right? So same concept, just what happens is eventually you start improvising with these accents, and it sounds like a ton of notes, because it is a lot of notes, but I'm not thinking about all the notes. All I'm thinking is this. Das, 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 da, das, da, 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 da. Like I'm thinking very simple phrasing. It's just that each accent is the start of either a paradiddle, a double paradiddle, or a paradiddle diddle, right? And it gets started with stuff like, just pick a simple phrase and translate it to that concept. Like, okay, how do I play this simple phrase? You know, the phrase has to work with triplets, obviously. And then how do I translate that to like paradiddles and paradiddle? Like, it depends on how many notes there are. Like if it's 2 notes, it's a para. If it's 4 notes, it's a paradiddle. If it's 6 notes, then it's either a paradiddle or a paradiddle diddle. Like it depends on where you need the accents, right? That's what decides which one it is. But yes, someone asked about like the hand foot thing, like da 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 da. Like that's for me. That's like I want to squeeze that stuff in there, and it's challenging, as you see. So that was for Stixology. Hey, folks on YouTube that are watching the stream, if you're interested in supporting the channel, there's a little super button there, a little smiley face, a little $sign. We're trying to get some funds together to upgrade the setup here. So if anyone that's interested in supporting the channel, you can do that. Let's see. Peter says, what's your opinion on Gary Novak? Oh man, Gary Novak is one of my favorite drummers ever. I was lucky enough to take a lesson with Gary in the, I don't know, early 2000s, I want to say, probably. I've seen Gary a ton. He's one of my favorite guys. He's on a bunch of recordings. Obviously, you know, back when he was the new drummer in the Chicory Electric Band 2, a lot of focus was on him, and we were all kind of like arms folded and checking out this guy, and instantly he just killed it, and we were all like, okay, okay. But yeah, I love his playing, and I've hung out with that guy several times, and he's super nice, super knowledgeable. Yeah, so that's my opinion. Let's see. Happy birthday, greetings from Croatia. Thank you very much. Happy birthday from Magnus. Thank you very much. A lot of birthday wishes. I don't want to bore folks and just continue to read them. Just want to say thanks. Let's see. Stixology. Referencing my earlier comment, how best to work on fluid execution of the alternating hand and foot coming out of a fill? Well, that's the kind of thing This is for Stixology on via YouTube. He sent this at like 1:31. That's the kind of thing where, I mean, you mentioned like playing it as an exercise versus like, putting it in a phrase like I was trying to do. I mean, that really is the kind of thing where it will benefit from just doing it in kind of a workout kind of way where you're just like dabba 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 dabba, like you get your body used to what that feels like and your brain used to that. But the other thing that you need to really pay attention with that is making sure that you're on the grid and that you're coming out on one correctly. And because when you're splitting up those notes like dabba dabba dabba, like hand and foot singles, you have to know which like, is my hand on the downbeat? Is it like eighth note triplets starting on the downbeat, or are they offset? Because that's the tricky thing when you get into 16 note triplets. It's like no matter what subdivision you're playing, if you're playing hand to hand or hand foot, one limb is doing half of that subdivision. So if I'm playing hand to hand 16 notes, just 1E and a 2E, and my right hand's doing eighth notes, which is half, and my left hand's also doing eighth notes. They're displaced by a 16th. All right, so it's the same thing with this concept. Like if you're splitting up like your hand and foot over 16 note triplets, chugga digga 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 chugga 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 cha, like with your left hand and your foot, like do that, like chick your left foot. Make sure you know where that quarter note, keep that quarter note going, and just realize that, okay, my right hand is playing eighth note triplets. It starts on the downbeat. My foot is playing eighth note triplets. They're just shifted by a 16th note. Like, know where your limbs are on the grid and keep that quarter note going, it adds a whole other level of difficulty in terms of independence and coordination. And this kind of thing in particular is really going to let you know if you are not like centered. If your weight is not where it needs to be. Like, you don't want to be leaning on one of your limbs while you're playing. Like, you want your weight to be centered. That way your limbs are free to move without any kind of like, whoa, so yeah, make sure you know where your limbs are in terms of subdivisions, and have an escape plan of how to get out. Like, how do I get to one if I'm doing that, like if my left hand is doing like that, eighth note triplets and et cetera, then the left hand, that's the downbeat, right? So if I'm coming out on one, then what are you going to do? What's your plan? Like, do you want a bass drum on one? Because then you have a problem. You got to figure that out, because your bass drum is a 16th before the downbeat, and now it also has to play the downbeat, and so you have to know how you're going to play one, and you have to know where your limbs are in terms of the subdivision that you're playing, which can be tricky because the nature of this kind of lick, this kind of phrase is just dabba dabba dabba, like it's just this crazy rigid, like you're playing a roll basically between your hand and your foot, which is tricky, but I'm a fan of that stuff. I mean, those of us that are from my generation, a lot of us saw that like for the first time. I mean, there was the Tony stuff, obviously the Tony recordings, but in terms of video, like it was Vinny on the Buddy Rich Memorial Scholarship concert, like circa 88, where he was just doing that all over the place. And we were all like, we were just, we were all blown away by that. It's a cool concept. It's a good chops builder. It's a good coordination builder. I like doing it like, like get the swing pattern going or something while you do it, I mean, it's got a, kind of its own kind of unique sound, but then there's the alternating hand-foot version of that, which is the ladder. It's got a couple names, but I call it the ladder because it uses all four limbs going up a ladder, and that's just, Vinny does it on that same video too, and then Virgil came and just, took it to a whole other level. But the way that I play it is right hand, left foot, left hand, right foot, using the double pedal. You get a much faster version of the hand-foot roll that way, obviously. So yeah, I'll quit while I'm ahead on that one, because that stuff's going to start flamming pretty soon. You keep that going, my hands, everything's just going to start flamming together. But yeah, that's what we call the ladder. Another cool way to play, just single strokes, putting your hands on your feet. And again, like you got to know, like where are my hands, where are my feet in terms of subdivisions, and how do I get out? You know, how do I get to one cleanly? So that's also for Stixology. Let's see. Let's see, one of the best and solid drummers watching from Toronto. Thank you very much. I have a little Canadian blood in me these days. My wife is from Montreal, so yeah, I spend some time up there once in a while. Hey man, I don't know who you are, but happy birthday from Argentina. Thank you. Let's see. Oh yes, more symbols for the Guj. Let's see. Adam Jones says happy birthday. Thank you very much. It was 2 barrels over. Oh, for the 6/8 thing, we're asking for the. Yeah, just go back to the video. I'll leave this video up. You can go back and check it out. Let's see. What do you think about Dan Mayo? I'm not familiar with him. Sorry if I should be. Hey Steve, I have watched you from the beginning. Love your playing and the feel. Thank you very much. Also, do you experience pain while drumming? Are you completely relaxed while keeping time in your hi-hat and bouncing in general? Says Mark Dinowitz from YouTube at 1:43. Hello, Mark. Good question. That's a good question, actually. Do I experience pain while drumming? A little bit, not while drumming, but I had to stop playing for like 6 months this year because of severe tendon issue. I had tennis elbow, and then carpal and cubital tunnel syndrome in both arms, and so I had to stop for 6 months and do a bunch of physical therapy and stuff. But it wasn't from the drumming, because I took 6 months off and I kind of healed up, and then I started drumming again, and it's not the drumming that aggravates it. It does a little bit, like I can feel it here a little bit in the elbow, but there's other things like swimming. I notice swimming really aggravates it. And the way that I sleep, like I bend my arms a lot when I sleep, and so I've had to kind of break that habit because according to the doctor that I saw, just bending and just using, that's what you know, taps into like your finite resources that you have. You know, obviously it's different from person to person, but for me, you know, with the way that I sleep and like, you know, drumming for, you know, since I was whatever 15 or 16 years old, you know, you just use it, maybe more than the average person. I mean, who knows? But to answer your question, I don't have pain while I play, and being relaxed is super important. I'm a huge advocate of being relaxed when you play because, and this is kind of key for me. You know, sounding relaxed when you play is a big part of grooving. Like if you want your stuff to groove, part of like grooving for me is just sounding relaxed, because I think about like the percentage of effort it takes for you to do something. Like if you lift a really heavy weight, it takes like 100%, 90% effort to lift it. That applies to drumming. Like if you're drumming and it takes like a high percentage effort to play, it sounds that way. And I don't want it to sound that way unless I intend for it to, unless I need it to, you know, but I don't want that to be my default thing. I want that to be like a knob or a slider that I can control myself, you know. And so that means practicing enough to where you can do this stuff just second nature, which means that you can relax while you do it. Having control, you know, being in control of your volume, being in control of everything. You're basically self-mixing while you play. And folks don't really realize that. Folks don't talk about that. You're self-mixing while you play. And there's a huge X factor when you get out into the world on a gig, because the venue sounds weird. It certainly doesn't sound like in the rehearsal place. It doesn't sound like your drum room. You know, you get to some place, it's going to sound weird. Your drums are going to sound weird. You can't hear this guy loud enough. That guy's too loud. There's things you got to deal with. And so when you get to the gig, I don't want to worry about the drumming. I want to have practiced enough so when we get there, it's like, okay, the drumming is going to be fine. I need to make sure I can hear everybody. I need to make sure that I'm controlling my volume in the manner that gels with the band and makes the music the best it can be. And you can't multitask unless you have the mental resources to do that. And so if you're caught up at 100% just to do the drumming on the gig, then you don't have the resources to worry about the other stuff. And that was another motivator for me. You know, it's like, okay, I want the drumming to take care of itself so that when I get the gig, I have the resources, you know, the wherewithal to deal with the other stuff. And, you know, just you have that, so that way you can tap into it if you need it, you know. So that's another reason why I think being relaxed while you play is important, because I like the way playing relaxed sounds, and I want to be able to multitask. Let's see, Stixology. I love the questions, Stixology, by the way. Thanks, Steve. Been loving your content for the first time I tried the YouTube House of Drums. Happy birthday. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, House of Drumming is a website that I've had for decades now. It's our little old school, old man drum hang, if you will. Oh, dude, Negasaurus. What rust? Sounding fantastic. Happy birthday, Negasaurus, with the donation. Oh man, bro hugs, Negasaurus. I'm gonna give you a bro hug soon. Let's see, happy 50th. Thanks for the amazing tutorials. You're a great inspiration to dudes like me, 70 and the other 50, brother. Thank you, Mark Dalzell. Appreciate it, man. Matthias chiming in. Everyone check out Matthias. Happy birthday and greetings from Denmark. Thank you. Let's find some drumming questions. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. Incredible inspiration. Thank you very much. All right. I have tennis elbow also. Taking forever to get rid of it. Yeah, I just stopped playing for like 6 months, man. Seriously. Like, I stopped playing. I spent a lot of time in front of a computer. I make video games for a living. I don't play drums for a living. And so I spent a lot of time in front of a computer, and so I had to kind of change up my setup. I got a vertical mouse, so that I could have my hand in the default relaxed position on my mouse instead of this. You know, I wanted this, and so you can buy a mouse that does this, and I've been using that for a while, and it's really helped. And what else? Just, you know, oh yeah, I got an elbow support thing, like this thing that clamps on my desk that is an arm basically with a pad that I can just kind of rest my elbow on and keep my arm in like a relaxed position, that kind of thing. And it feels like it helps. I mean, it's possible it doesn't, but it made a difference for me. So there's that. Have you ever worked out or did anything in this regard? What, Negus? Oh man. Thanks, Negus. I really appreciate it, man. In order to stay in shape, you know, I try to do cardio. Like, I take my dog for walks all the time, you know, not as much as I should. Actually, you know what? I was kind of proud of myself because I looked at my average steps. I moved recently to a place where I felt a little more comfortable walking. And so I tried to walk more, and, you know, having a dog helps. And so my average steps for the last year was like 3,000. I know you're supposed to do like 10,000, right? But 3,000, like, for a guy that works behind a computer, like, that's a lot for me. So I'm kind of happy about that, and let's see if we can at least keep that going for next year. All right. So I think we're caught up with the chat here. So I'm going to actually just play a little bit more. Just for fun, and we'll see what happens. I appreciate everyone hanging out. Again, my name is Steve Holmes. We're streaming live from Los Angeles, and that's it. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to play some more drums, hopefully. Man, it's hard to stay in 7. It is hard to stay in 7. What's up, folks? My name's Steve Holmes. I turned 50 today. We're playing drums. We're talking about drums. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see what I'm doing better now compared to my. Let's see, Steeplehammer with the donation. Thank you very much. Hey, Steve, a question about Tony Williams. I come here from a rock metal background. I've been getting progressively more into jazz the past couple of years. I see it written a lot that Tony changed drumming. Could you talk a little bit about that? What it was that set Tony aside from his peers and how drumming changed as the result of his contributions? Man, there's a loaded question. Simon's asked, is this PHX Yamaha? Yes. I'm a Yamaha artist, and Zildjian, love the Yamaha stuff. I love the sound of these drums. We're gonna get out the old recording customs soon, though. I bought some new heads, and we're gonna do a stream where we change the heads and stuff. It's gonna be fun. Man, I mean, with every drummer that, talking about Tony now, with every drummer that comes along that kind of changes things, like you have to keep in mind like the context. Like it's all about context. So in other words, like what is the standard? What is everyone doing right now? And then the guy that comes along and he is doing new stuff that works musically and people love and people are impressed by, and then now his thing kind of like becomes the, mixes in with what the norm is. That happens with every kind of like, art, music, playing musical instruments, cooking, like making cars, like name it. It's the nature of kind of being a pioneer. And when Tony hit the scene, I mean, I wasn't around, obviously. I'm from a different generation, but from the people that I spoke to, it was like for a long time, like in the 70s and 80s, it was like a lot of the new drummers, they were either like a Tony guy or they were like a Steve Gadd guy. And the reason is because a lot of the phrasing that people were doing is like could be kind of traced back to, oh, sounds, whether it was or not, it sounded a lot like, oh, this is kind of like a Gadd thing, like a linear kind of like doubles offset by one thing, 16, like, that kind of thing. And Tony was kind of more, I mean, really to kind of understand the significance of Tony, the magic of Tony, you just got to go back and listen to the records, listen, or just go to YouTube or Spotify, like stream some stuff, and just kind of get a sense of his timeline, not just like this one record, kind of zoom out and see, okay, when he was this age, he was playing this music with these people. And why are these recordings significant? And, oh, okay, so now the next decade, oh, he was trying, because he was the king of bebop for a long time with the Miles, quintet, with Herbie and Ron Carter, and Wayne and, Nefertiti, like put on headphones and listen to Nefertiti. And just, if you have any experience playing music with people, then you'll instantly realize, why that stuff is just magic, because as I said before, it's incredibly challenging to play music with people. It just is. And to be able to have a thing that you love and have that instantly kind of become this thing that not only works with the music, but inspires everyone else in the band. And so now they're playing kind of differently as a result of your energy and like what you were doing. And that's kind of crazy, I don't want to get into like, specific Tony Williams kind of phrasing and stuff. I mean, like, My Funny Valentine plus 4 and More is a double live record, CD, whatever, that I listen to a lot of, and just man, for up-tempo stuff, taking soloing over form, in terms of like what made Tony different from other jazz drummers at the time, like he was pretty aggressive, and he was not into the minimal sound that a lot of jazz guys have, even to this day, the kind of 18-inch bass drum. Tony was not having that. Tony was like, his bass drums were bigger, and the bass drum voice of his kit was way more present, as a result. And so, I want to say it was almost like a rock thing, which he was kind of, you could tell he was I mean, it's just pure speculation at this point, but he went and, he played a lot of like, kind of rock fusion stuff after he did the bebop thing. And so it seems to me that he was like interested in kind of like that big sound. Obviously his work, with the fusion stuff, the early Lifetime stuff with John McLaughlin and that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, it's funny because it's so easy now to just like Google stuff and just see the time. Like, here's every recording he was on. Click here and listen to it. Like, it's never been easier to research. I'm kind of jealous and envious of young players now that just have that at their fingertips, but really like take advantage of it because it, I mean, I guess it's appropriate since I turned 50 today, but like back in my day, like it didn't used to be like that, at the risk of sounding whatever. But I mean, that's the answer. Like, he had a unique voice, and the nature of his particular voice, it was like kind of like this young, kind of aggressive thing that just lit a match in the music that he played. And you can hear that in all the recordings that he was on, for the most part. Live from New York was a video concert that he did with his band, Wallace Roney. And, oh man, I forget the piano player's name. I just love that guy's playing on there. And he wrote those tunes like as a songwriter. Like, that's way out of my league. I can't even comment on that. Like, I don't know what it's like to write an amazing song, and he did that stuff too. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, the tunes on that era in particular. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the other musicians in that band. Sister Sadie, I think, is one of the tunes. And I hear other people play that tune. Like, Steve Smith did it like on a Modern Drummer Festival, and like, it's cool to like have a nod to the, to the greats, but man, it was nowhere near. Like, I would never just put on someone else's rendition of Sister Sadie to listen to it. I would always put on Tony's. So there's my rant on Tony, but don't listen to me. Like, go listen to Tony, but it's good that you're checking that stuff out. And one final thought on that, like, you may not be ready. You may not get it, which is fine, because I recall that happening to me. Like, in my younger days, when I was all about Neil Peart and Rush and all that stuff, like, I remember, like, I bought a Gad tape. I bought, like, the Gad Gang, and I was like, okay, what is the big deal with this guy? And I put it on, and I hated it. I didn't get it. I was not ready for it. I didn't understand the magic of Gad. And I remember, like, making that transition and kind of just understanding the big picture and understanding, like, why groove is special and what is a special groove and what Gad is. And I saw Zildjian Day in New York, like 1984, and I was like, oh my God, because, you spend enough time playing music yourself, you spend enough time playing drums by yourself, and you realize all the work and effort that you do and what you get out of it and how challenging it is. And then a guy like Gad comes along in the 80s, and it's like, okay, guys, check out this new amazing sounding musical approach. And it's nuts. It's never going to be like that again. It's never going to be like that again in terms of, like, here's a guy who does the thing great at a time when an industry is fertile and hungry, and so he's going to work all the time. It's not like that anymore. With making music and recording music and stuff. Like, if you're amazing at that stuff, it's just like, that field is just not as, it's just different now. But I'm not in it, and so I literally don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just a guy in my drum room at home who likes to practice and make videos. I used to play a lot of music. There's a lot of videos on my channel and stuff of playing music with folks. And I miss it. We'll see. Maybe we'll do it some more. But yeah, go check out Tony. There's my Tony rant. Okay. Let's see. Try this pick a bass drum pattern. Okay, so this is Mark with a recommendation of something to practice. We're not going to read that for right now. We'll come back to it. Dean, thank you. Happy birthday, says Dean Giles. Dean, another great drummer. Appreciate it, brother. Let's see. Alan Mascari, 50 is the new 30. Keep up the awesome drumming, Alan Mascari. Amazing sax player. I miss you, man. Wow, the CC works live. Happy birthday, Steve, says Chris Para. The CC. I feel like I should know what that is. I don't. Let's see. Steeplehammer 1. Appreciate the answer. I love Nefertiti. I will continue to go deeper. Yeah, do it. And like, keep in mind, like I said, context, like it's Tony, but like who else was the guys back then? Because that's key, like something can't be good by itself. It needs to be good amongst other things. Oh, closed captioning. Okay. Mulgrew Miller with Tony, yes, says Dean Giles, yeah. Mulgrew Miller, yeah. Whew, man, I love that video. Live from New York. Yeah, it's all about how something is in relation to something else. If there's no other drummers on the planet and it was just Tony, it'd be like, okay, well, this guy's great. But it wouldn't be like, oh my God, he's great compared to what's going on. Like, a thing has to be amazing compared to other things, you know? All right, we did a solid hour. We did an hour and 10 minutes. This was fun. I appreciate folks spending time with me on my birthday. Anyone interested in supporting the channel on YouTube, you can click that super. Actually, after the fact, when the stream is done, there's a little thanks button with a $sign if you want to contribute to the Drum Room Fund. We're going to get a new laptop, new microphones. I want to get a camera switch, get some GoPros happening so we can switch cameras live and stuff, do all the things that the cool kids are doing. So yes, that's it. We'll pick it up next time in the next stream. Really appreciate folks hanging out on my birthday. Looks like we got 100 messages according to Restream. Yay! It's a good place to stop. My name's Steve Holmes. Thank you. We'll see you next time.